How many of you here loves fishing? Okay, I see quite a few people. So you probably might know that in the fishing, you're also constantly upgrading. You're looking for new lures, new fishing rods, new gear to always try to catch a bigger fish. Yeah? So why we are doing that? We are trying to get most satisfaction from that hobby that we are in. It's good to feel that when you have right tools, you can catch the proper fish. But now let's come back to the previous presentation. As Ksenia has mentioned, Teltonika has its own ecosystem. So for example, TCT, PhotoWeb, software and hardware, and it's all combined with the firmware. Firmware is connecting all the parts together, and it helps to work for all the environment. Without firmware, ecosystem would not work. Hardware would be useless, and we could not get any value from the hardware or the software that we are creating. And also, other solutions that you are creating would not be possible without the firmware that we are creating. So everything is joined. Speaking about that, during the last year, 2023, we have sold more than 2 million of devices in Europe. So we have checked the devices configurations, and now I will share the results that we have found. I think that most of you knows what Codec 8 and Codec Extended is. You're using our device. So Codec 8 was one of the first protocols that we have introduced, and during the time and during upgrades and development we have found that this protocol is limited. We cannot deliver all the potential of devices and all the features to you with only this protocol. So we have created Codec Extended protocol to maximize the value of the devices we are delivering and creating for you. So we have increased the number of I/O elements and functionalities that you could receive on the server. But the numbers we will see now shows us a bit different story. So only 43% of 1.8 million devices that we have analyzed are using Codec 8 Extended protocol. So it means that 57% of the devices are not using and are not capable to use all the potential and the functionalities that they already have. Let's move forward to specific functionalities. Unplug detection, for example, which can help you to detect if the device was unplugged from the vehicle and power supply was disconnected. It helps to find that something is going on with the car. But only 15% of these units are using this functionality, and only 7% of these 15 are using alert. So you would get notification to your mobile phone or customer phone that the device was unplugged. Let's move forward to towing detection, which helps you to detect if your vehicle is being towed. So the numbers shows a sad story, that only 7% of the devices using this functionality. Let's go to the network jamming. And you might think that, okay, the network jamming is an old feature, we all using that and we know what it is. But the numbers shows us the real side. Only 9% of these devices are using network jamming. Why I am talking about these specific features? Because vehicle theft issue is very common in entire world. In Europe, as you can see in this map, in the darker colors marked countries where this issue is very common. And you just think about that 7 vehicles have been stolen in an hour in UK. 8 vehicles in an hour have been stolen in France. And we have winner Italy with 10 vehicles have been stolen every hour. So it shows us that one vehicle have been stolen every 6 minutes in Italy. So during my presentation, 2 vehicles have been stolen already. So you might think that it's not so big deal, but the solutions that we are providing can help you. So how the update of the firmware and configuration can help you to get more value and more security of the units that you already have. So for example, current solutions that you have now, network jamming, unplug detection, towing detection, and auto geofence. With the firmware update, you can get additional value of, for example, backup tracking solution, SECO, secure engine blocking functionality, and even GNSS jamming. Some of those features can be enabled just with the simple update of the firmware and device configuration. Why I'm talking about vehicle thefts? Because it's a big loss. For example, average cost of vehicle stolen in Europe is from 30 to 40,000 euros. And if you want, for example, to add extra solution as a backup tracker, I can say it would cost from 100 to 200 euros with device and device installation. For example, if you choose the backup tracker functionality, so approximately it's about 2 tanks of fuel or 1,500 driven kilometers with the vehicle. So, or the simple update, which is free of charge, which can help you to add extra security for the device. So what I suggest you to do is to just simply invest about 200 euros per vehicle and sleep well. Or you can drive extra 1,500 kilometers without extra security. And I think I know what you are thinking about. That this is a lie and my insurance will cover all the cost because we all have insurance. But that's actually not true. Because let's compare the cost of the downtime, the franchise, administrative cost, and the replacement cost of the vehicle, and combining all that, we still have a loss of around 5,000 euros. So what additional value you can get of these extra functionalities that you just can simply get from us, from Teltonika, with a firmware and configuration upgrade. So let's imagine that I'm a customer who's owning a fleet. So in my daily life, I constantly choosing some subscription plan, same as you are, for YouTube, Spotify, television, Netflix, and so on. Many different selections. So, for example, if you have basic security for X amount of money per month, where you have some simple features of vehicle security, you can think about adding additional value and upgrading the plan to the advanced one. You could enable extra functionalities for your customers, add extra security, extra value with, for example, 3 euros per month. Or you can help them and install additional tracker, give them professional plan, for example, and give additional value with backup tracker, SECO functionality, immobilizer scenarios, and so on. So, Pro solution would require additional input from the integrators, to add extra. But let's take a look at the revenue which you can get from such solutions. For example, if you increase from the basic to advanced, if you have 100,000 customers, so let's think about 10% of all your customers selects the upgrade of 3 euros, it would increase the monthly revenue by 30,000. The yearly increase would be about 360,000 euros. So let's imagine just small upgrade of 3 euros for one customer is one portion of ice cream. So the cost is quite low, but the revenue you can get is quite big. Think about these things that I have told you today and how everything that I told you could become an opportunity and money for you tomorrow. I have started with my hobby of fishing, and one of my colleagues, Krzysztof, who was showing the presentation of FT platform, once told me, when you go fishing, you always need to be prepared and have right tools. You have to have specific line which will hold the fish, because you never know what type of fish and what size of fish you can catch that day. So you always need to be ready. And I guarantee you that you will catch. You will catch the success. You will catch that fish. I can guarantee you. Because it happens. It happens all the time. You always need to be ready.